Hi, my name is Marco Bronzini. I'm a graduate of the Royal Academy of Arts in London, England. I welcome you to my YouTube channel, Marco Bronzini Art School and Studio. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to leave Impressionism behind. I'm going to do something a little bolder, a little more colorful. So I'll tell you about it when we get started. So this is our reference, a couple of boats. And we're going to be talking about the Fauves movement, Fauves. You should look them up. They're very bold colors. They came after the Impressionists. The period was very short, from 1900, 1901 to 1905, 1906. You should look them up. The Fauve landscapes, especially the Fauves, again, Fauves. They're very, very strong colors, very bold primary colors. So we're going to do a little bit of that today just to get away from Impressionists. And I'm going to be using big brushes and bolder colors. So I hope you'll enjoy it. So for today, I have Viridian here, Cerulean, Ultramarine, Cad Orange, Cad Red, Raw Sienna, Cad Yellow Light, and Crimson, alizarin Crimson. Sometimes I put permanent rose, today I put alizarin Crimson, and titanium white, and this is just liquid for today. All right, so we're going to get going with this boat. As usual, I'm going to do just a few little lines to get the things going, and then we're going to go right into those really strong colors and emphasize the colors a little bit. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to make a few lines. I'm going to use my crimson right in here. I'm going to establish the boat just with a few lines, as I always do. Doesn't matter if you do Impressionist or what. The beginning of the painting is always the same. So roughly, I'm going to put that boat where it is, right in here. This is a really good subject that would be a very powerful subject to paint. Lovely colors in there. Again, less and less details, especially on the painting like this, as you can see in a little while. Then we're going to put the other one next to it, just a few little lines, just to get it going. That goes out of the painting like this. Some nice curves on those little fishing boats. Very pretty. Right here. What's beautiful about this is the intensity of the colors in front, and then the light on the subjects at the back is very pretty. A little bit of shade in here, but the reflections on the colors, gorgeous. Lots of beautiful colors in here. So we're going to get right into those. And right off the bat, I'm going to get into the color now. So I'm going to put some orange in there, some red. Very bold. Sunlight right on it, right here. A little bit back in there. This one is a little grayer, so we're going to leave that alone for the moment. So there's a bit of yellow here. Beautiful sunlight, so pretty, right here. And then I'm going to do a little bit of reflection in there, and I'm going to go right into that water after that. So the reflection, things that are being reflected are usually darker. So I'm going to put a little bit of colors right in here, just to establish what's there. Wonderful distortion of the color. And same thing in the white of the boat here, which becomes sort of a greenish color right in here. And the shadow on the boat here itself. Now I'm going to go right into the water now. Okay, now in the water, right away, we're going to introduce some of those wonderful colors in here. It's a little bit of some cerulean here, some ultramarine, a little bit of viridian. There's a lot of colors in that, a lot of colors. Again, I prime my canvas. This is like a sort of gray-green color. You can, I mean, depending what you want to do, there's many things you can do, but anything but white. That's very important, regardless of your style. That doesn't matter. Try to prime your canvas best you can. All right, and this water comes right clean against this, so it makes a lovely sort of outline there of the ship, of the boat, rather. Sorry, not the ship, the boat. And on the other side, we got some lighter color. Right against that, right in here. Right, so you see already I have this pretty well organized already. I'm gonna go some lighter colors back there. And that goes all the way back to about there, like this. Give and take, roughly like that. Then we're gonna block all this stuff around this, around here, around there. So outline the boats a bit better like that. All right, let's keep going with this. There are a lot of colors in there, of course, as usual. So we try to put in as much as we can. And again, this style of painting is a little bit more, it's much bolder. It's not an impressionist painting per se. So there's a lot of colors here, which normally you don't necessarily put in. You got to create a little bit of your own version of it, if you will. But I suggest you look at those painters, the Fauves. They're really wonderful. And you'll see exactly what I'm doing here. There. Okay, now I'm going to put the stuff at the back. Okay, we're going to deal with the buildings at the back now. There's a lot of sunlight on that, but it's in the distance, so we don't want it too warm. So there's some nice colors in here, but not as hot as you would think. So you got to be careful about that. Still, even though the colors are much brighter throughout, the simple rule still applies. What's in front, it's warmer, and what's at the back, it's cooler. So even though those colors have the sunlight in it, they still need to be cool enough so they go back. And we're going to just introduce a few little touches like this to get it going, and then eventually we'll make them into buildings later on. And the color of the canvas here is going to be very useful. I'm going to leave a lot of that show through, and I'll show you when the time comes. We've got some buildings at the back, so we can do little windows like this. A few little things in here to establish the shoreline, so to speak, right in there. But very much an impression of it. Some trees in here. And then a bit more of the building right in here. Some windows in there. Really giving just a quick impression of it without anything specific. Right there. Okay, let's go back into the boats now. Especially this one here, I haven't dealt with it yet. So we're going to make a sort of a warm gray. I'm going to put some of this, some of that with it. Okay. So part of it is in the sunlight, right in here, and part of it is in the shade. So the color becomes a little bit deeper, obviously. Right in here. That's the part of it that's in the shade. Right, we're going to go back into this one here. Some purple in there, which is rather nice. Right here, that's the shadow of the boat itself. Right in here. There. And then now we're going to establish the bottom of the boat, which is rather important. So that's again a dark color. I'm going to put some region here, some ultramarine, a little bit of the crimson. It's a pretty deep color. And we're going to establish the whole shape properly right here. So it comes this way like this, and then it turns right in here like this. So that's the actual boat, and that's its reflection. And there's some reflection right in here too. Lots of colors in here. Yeah. Okay, all this reflective water in here, coming right against there, right in there. It outlines this bird right here, the reflection. Yeah, and then some reflection right in that as well. Virgin in here, some ultramarine, some ceruleum, a lot of different stuff in there. And later on we'll deal with colors back in there. I'm going to establish that the side of the dock right in here, which is kind of important. It gives a nice perspective as well. Right there. Okay. And that sort of cuts through that like this, which is actually very, very useful for us. Right there. It creates a really good contrast against the water. And once you've done that, then now I can go back to the water in here and play around with this. And we're going to introduce the mast as well right away. I'm not going to wait until the end. I'm going to put them in right now. So there's one right in here, and I go straight out of the canvas, which is good. Right in here. Right there. And then there's another one in here. All those lines are very good for the painting. It gives the painting structure, which is very good. And one right there. Okay. There's a rope here, which we'll do later on, all in due course. Right, and then once you have that, now you can come back and play around with the water around it. And that's what gives the painting the quality we want, as opposed to paint a photograph. Remember, painting is a different animal than a photograph. A photograph is one thing, a painting is another. The painting gives you the opportunity to create something original, something that's not out there, that you can't photograph. So it's very important that you understand that. And don't try to copy a photograph, just create a painting. Again, in your own style, of course, but very important to understand that. Creating a photograph from a photograph really doesn't require much talent. Just if you're a good forger, you're good enough. Being an artist means being creative and try to create something that's not there, that's not seen except by you. Okay, so the deck is kind of a pinkish color right there. That's too bright. Just down a little bit. There you go, like this. Some of it is in a shade. Right here, it's in the shade, and then the light picks up here. Right in there. Picks up the sunlight. All this is in the sunlight. And we'll pick up some nice highlight later on when the painting is drier, because right now it's soaking wet. And then we don't want to mess around too much with that. Let me establish that curve there, which is rather good, right in here. And then I think this is fine. Clean up the water a little bit around there. Outline the boat a little bit better here. There. Now this is all reflection from the other boat. So a lot of dark in there, but we need that because we need to outline this part right in here. So this is very good. So what we want, like this. And then the other one is right in here. There. Don't overmix your colors. Of course, I've said that every time. There. Okay, I'm going to re-strengthen the masts. A little bit deeper. Another one right there. And then when they're dry, we get to make them even better. But right for the moment, this is good enough. There. Okay, I'm going to go back to the water in front. Okay, we're going to make a nice contrast against that wall right there. Right in here. And in the process, create some of those nice little wave right there. And then you can start putting some light back in here. I'm going to raise that line a little bit more. I think it's a little bit too low. So I'm going to come up a little bit higher right in here. And this will serve as a reflection anyway, so that's all good. Right, I think that's a better composition. And then this can be just reflection. There. A couple more things on this. An impression, that's all we need. There. The red in here I'm going to put in later on when it's drier. So I'm going to wait for that. There's a lovely red line there, which I'm going to wait for that. I really like the distortion of the water here, so we make a bigger deal out of this. Right in here. So creates a very nice design in here, right across that, and then right against that wall right there. Very strong. All right, let me re-establish the reflection there. This is rather important. Right in there. And obviously no two curves are the same. And that comes right against the wall right here. This one I think also needs to be a little greener, a little bluer, it's too red, like this. And then we're going to reintroduce some colors in there. The reflection right in here. A lot of little breaks. Right in there. A few more waves in that, then we'll be done for today. Like this. Same thing in here, a few little breaks in there. Nothing specific. A lot of movement in there. nice and clean against our wall. Again, when it's dry, we'll clean that up and really make it really good. Yeah. I think we're good for today. You get the idea. So really broad color, really bright colors. And again, have a look at those people I mentioned, the Fauves, Fauves is spelled. It's a great movement that lasted only 4 or 5 years, but includes people like Dufy, Matisse, Derain, Braque. The early work is really beautiful. And they all began like that. It was a breakaway from the Impressionists, trying to break away from the traditions, which is very good. But it gave us some great artists with great colors, very bold strokes, very direct painting. So please have a look at them. Anyway, thank you for joining me on my channel, and I'll see you soon for day 2. I'll see you soon.